I say unto thee, let my people go! Let my people go! Let him go. Give him a break, man. Okay, all right, cut. All right. I know I'm not the director. I'm going to have to say cut. This is getting out of hand. All right. This was supposed to be about the crossing of the Red Sea on this episode of Chuck Knows Church. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night and turned the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. The Israelites went into the sea on dry ground, the waters forming a wall for them on their right and on their left. Exodus 14, 21 through 22, the New Revised Standard Version. The crossing of the Red Sea. All right, it marks the point in the story of the Exodus when the Israelites leave Egypt and enter the wilderness. Now, at first, the Israelites were slaves to the Egyptians, and later, Moses was selected to deliver them out of slavery. The Egyptians had to suffer 10 plagues before the Egyptian Pharaoh freed the Israelites. And after that came the crossing of the Red Sea. And just like I said, Moses held out his staff, and the Red Sea was separated into two halves by God. Wow. Then the Israelites walked onto the dry ground and crossed the sea. Wow again. But behind them came the Egyptian army. So Moses moved his staff once again, like that, maybe like this, maybe he did one of these, I don't know. And the sea became normal, and with that, he drowned the entire Egyptian army. Third wile's a charm. Now, it is commonly suggested that Hebrew for Red Sea, Yam Suf, should be translated Sea of Reeds. This might then mean that the place where the Israelites left Egypt was simply, let's call it a marshy area, perhaps dried out by an appropriate wind. Now, this premise is based upon the presumption that the Hebrew term Suf is related to the Egyptian word meaning reed. And in a flat, marshy area, large patches can often be covered by shallow water or dried out by the wind. So, the Israelites could have been simply wading through shallow water, right? And in turn, the Egyptian army not only couldn't swim, but they didn't even know how to wade. You think that someone might teach them that in their training, right? Their Egyptian army training? I don't know. All right, some have even theorized that a volcanic eruption on the island of Santorini, some 500 miles north of Egypt, might have produced a tidal wave that parted the Red Sea. Not Moses, tidal wave. That sounds like a very luckily timed volcano. Frankly, any attempt at a realistic explanation through some scientific phenomenon undoubtedly comes up short. Now, the preferred interpretation for those of faith is this. It is an example of the phenomenal power of an almighty God. Now, when the Bible narrates an event as a miracle, something that cannot be explained, by definition, it presents an event as a natural act of God. And the crossing of the Red Sea sounds to me to be one of those miracles. If you would like to learn more, be sure to ask your pastor. Tell them Chuck sent you. Then everybody else left. What are you even doing here still?